with Ravi Sagoo on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yes, indeed, a very warm welcome to Summer Soul. Next 3 hours right here on BBC Radio Scotland. Let's kick off with an absolute classic from the Chess label. The phenomenally smooth and powerful vocals of Fantala Bass with Rescue Me. Backing vocals there from Minnie Ripperton as well. And see the vocal harmonies, the ums, the ahs and all that kind of stuff. It's actually because she forgot some of the lyrics during the recording. So if you hear me doing some ums and ahs on the show, yeah, possibly not. Anyway, a warm welcome once again to BBC Radio Scotland. It's Summer Soul with myself, Ravi Sagoo, with you right through until 1 a.m. All the new and old classic archive of soul, funk, hip-hop, R&B. It's all here and some. And coming up in the second hour of the show tonight, we've got an interview with Abraham Alexander, who was gigging in Glasgow earlier this summer. He played the Poetry Club, like I said earlier. When I was chatting away to Shireen and Phoebe, I caught that very gig and I caught up with him after the gig as well. So we'll have all his conversation in the second hour. And also I've been speaking to Latte Cronlund as well. He hails from Sweden, but he's based out in New York City with the Brooklyn Funk Essentials. We'll catch up with him about their brand new album. And we've got music from the likes of Incognito, Aretha Franklin, and a session track from Scottish soul fusion outfit Ray Harris, perhaps even, and the Fusion Experience. Our live classic this week comes from the Queen of Memphis Soul, Carla Thomas, which was recorded in Paris. And we'll throw in some classic Northern Soul for the dance floor to get your Friday night soul shuffle on as well. But let's get over to Canton, Ohio for some wise words from the OJs.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me ice and fire. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight oil. You You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Me on the show tonight. It's the usual text number for BBC Radio Scotland. It's 80295. You can get in touch via email as well. It's simply Ravi, R-A-V-I, bbc.co.uk. You can use the hashtag Summer Soul across Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to link into my account, which is where we keep all the goodness, all the pictures, all the comments for the programme, it's simply at Ravi Sagoo Gram, and I'll be getting to your messages throughout tonight's show. And of course, let me know what you're making of the music. What kind of music have you been experiencing this past week? And what's happening this weekend? Whether you're sort of just chilling out the soul, it's been maybe a crazy, busy working week, or perhaps you need a bit of high octane sort of music to get you ready for your weekend. We've got you covered from both angles, in between and some. Trust me, we've got a packed show tonight. Let's get a classic now from Jimmy Ruffin.
There must be a word that says how much I love you. One fulfilling word that shows how much I care. Wonderful would be the word. Yes, wonderful, I found the word. Oh, it's wonderful to be loved by you. It's wonderful to be needed by you. So much pride is what I felt inside when from the hopeful guys you reached for me. Then I saw my life change when you became
It's Wonderful to Be Loved by You from Jeffrey Ruffin, who had 3 top UK hits during the sort of 70s. That's after he found initial success in America hard to sustain. So yeah, he had a fair bit of success in this very country. Now, I've been looking forward to playing this next song all day, and this is courtesy of my producer Nick. This next band, they were formed in the late 1960s in London, and they've got Ghanaian, Caribbean, British roots, and it was released in 1976. So it was my producer that introduced me to this song, because I wasn't around in 1976. And this, seriously, it just resonates your soul on so many levels 45 odd years on. This is A Sunshine Day from Ossie Bisa.
Sunshiny day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day. Sunshiny day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day.
And of course, it was our absolute divine hope that it would be a sunshine day wherever you were in Scotland and beyond. Sunshine Day from Ossie Bisa. So much going on in that record. You've got a bit of compa from Haiti, Afro rock, Afro beat, soul, funk, so much more. What a record. I love the saxophone on it and the demba drums. I think I'll be spinning that once again at some point on Summer Soul. Indeed, you are listening to Summer Soul with myself, Ravi Sagoo. We're brought
I believe that a woman should be loved.
We're going to change the sort of style up a little bit, and I love the opening electric guitar solo on this. It's absolutely phenomenal. This one written by Stevie Wonder alongside Sarita Wright and Lee Garrow. Music by Stevie Wonder and the Funk Brothers as well. Flawless, absolutely flawless musicianship on this. This is the fantastic Detroit Spinners. It's a Shame.
It's a shame the way you mess around with your man. It's a shame the way you hurt me. It's a shame the way you mess around with your man. I'm sitting all alone by the telephone, waiting for your call. When you don't call at all, it's a shame the way you mess around with your man. It's a shame the way you play with my emotions. It's a shame the way you mess around with your man. You're like a child at play on a sunny day. First you play with her and then you throw it away. Why do you use me? Try to confuse me. How can you stand to be so cruel? Why don't you free me from this prison for some time? As you do, it's a shame the way you mess around with your man. It's a shame the way you hurt me. It's a shame the way you mess around with your man. I tried to stick with you, show your love so true, but you won't appreciate the love we try to make. Oh, it's got to be a shame. Why do you use me? Try to confuse me. How can you stand to be so cruel? Why don't you free me from this prison? Save my time as your got to be a shame the way you mess around with your mate. Oh, it's a shame the way you hurt me. Oh, it's a shame, baby, baby, the way you mess around with your mate. You got my heart in chains, and I must complain. I just can't be confined. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame the way you hurt me. Yeah. Gotta be a shame. Oh, yeah.
Purveyors of doo-wop soul, the Detroit Spinners, and It's a Shame. A wee hello going out to Sheila and Susan who are listening into the programme from London town. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday night. Remember, the text number to get in touch on the show is simply 80295. Time now to go to our live classic, which spins back to 1967, recorded in Paris. The album was originally released as Stax 722 in that very year, July, and it's also available on a reissue. Basically, the reissue is called the Stax Volt Review Volume 2. It's got a lovely dual case sort of folder insert, so if you're still into sort of collecting albums and inserts and CDs and maybe vinyl as well. And it also features some live recordings of some of the top Stax outfits of that era: Sam and Dave, Otis Redding, Eddie Floyd. But we're going to play Carla Thomas in this live version recorded in Paris of this absolute phenomenal song and recording. This is Carla Thomas, and I Got My Mojo Working.
Right now, a soul sister with the initials C.T. C for Colossal, T for Tremendous. I am speaking of Carla Thomas.
The band, flawless. Carla Thomas, flawless. Love that old audio recording taken from live in Paris way back in 1967. Can you imagine being at that gig? Phenomenal. I got my mojo working. Perhaps you were at that very gig. If you happen to be, or you were at that gig, I would love to hear more about it. Get in touch on the show, 80295, tonight's live classic. Just a wee reminder as well, in the second hour of the programme, we'll be catching up with my interview with Abraham Alexander, who has recently released a brand new album, his debut album called Seasons, and he's got some sort of European and sort of Texas flavours. He was actually born in Greece and then he moved over to Texas with his family a few years back, and he talks about his debut album, performing in Scotland, and he's got a real sort of soul, bluesy, intense vibe going down in his music, and a real nice guy as well to boot. So my interview with Abraham Alexander coming up in the second hour of the show. We're going to go incognito now with the music. This a cover of Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing.
BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, well, I'm raising money for my film.
What is it about?
So it's a love story set in the Windrush era.
Are there Nigerian characters?
Yeah.
A brand new comedy.
I love your hair.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Do you know, it's really nice to hear a compliment about a stupid comparison afterwards.
Don't get me started. I've got Whitney Houston and Beyonce.
Dreaming whilst black.
I believe here you meant to put incompetent. What did I put? Incontinent.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
best place to watch Family Feud? Survey says K3, KCDO TV.
5 and 5:30 on K3.
The legendary record producer Quincy Jones, I Know Corrida, from his 1981 album The Dude. That's one way to call him. You're listening to Summer Soul with myself, Ravi Sagoo, with you here on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Sounds right through until 1am this morning. And we're going to change up the vibe a little bit, get a bit sort of funky with a bit of Jamaican and a bit of soul coming up. And, well, Papa was a Rolling Stone. It was originally performed by The Undisputed Truth way back in 72. And, yeah, this is a bit of a different take on it. Perhaps one of my favourite takes on it, courtesy of Sydney, George and Jackie. And Papa was a Rolling Stone.
was the 3rd of September, a day I'll always remember. Yes, I will, 'cause it was the day that my daddy died. I never had the chance to see, never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth. And Mama just hung her head and said, your papa was a rolling stone, my son. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Sing it, your papa was a rolling stone, my son. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Doggone it. Never work a day in his life.
And Mama, some bad talk going around saying that Pop had 3 outside children, and they know the right, that is right.
Yes, some people talk about Papa doing some soulful preaching, talking about saving souls and all the time leeching, dealing in debt, stealing in the name of the Lord. And Mama just hung her head and said, your Papa was a rolling stone. Now, wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Sing it, your Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone.
Great rhythms, great reggae, great ska, great funk, and some Sydney, George, and Jackie with their version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone. On the show next week, I'll be catching up with Average White Band's Alan Gordy. In fact, I've already caught up with him earlier this summer. It's been a busy, busy summer preparing for Summer Soul, and he talks about the band's final farewell album and recording in the studio in America. And when they were in the studio, they actually had to wait their turn in the vocal booth because this great woman was in that very studio. Aretha Franklin and Respect. Queen of Soul, the signature song from her career. She actually rewrote and arranged that in 1967 off the back of Otis Redding's original version in 1965. Respect, what a record. And like I was mentioning, next week we'll have Alan Gorey on Summer Soul here on BBC Radio Scotland, and he's talking about Average White Band's final tour next year and the fabulous story of him seeing Aretha in the vocal booth. It's, definitely worth listening out to. So that's next week on the show. We're fast approaching the news time soon, but before that we'll throw in a record or two, perhaps this one.
Jam for me, yeah.
With Ravi Sagoo on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain. You drive into the heart of me. Seems to go nowhere, and our love
Gloria Jones's vocals, great horn section in that record as well. Tainted Love, taking it back to the original of 1964. Of course, Soft Cell's synth pop cover in 1981 took it to worldwide fame as well. That's not a bad version as well. Welcome back to the second hour of Summer Soul here on BBC Radio Scotland. Myself, Ravi Sagoo, with you right through until 1 a.m. this evening, bringing you all the new and classic soul, R&B. We'll throw in some hip-hop as well tonight. And yeah, we've got it covered. We'll throw in some blues and all the good stuff. Remember, you can get in touch as well. It's 80295 via text. And coming up this summer, my interview with Abraham Alexander from earlier this summer. He gigged at the Poetry Club in Glasgow. Perhaps you were at that very gig. It was a great gig. Really intense. He gets really involved with the crowd. So yeah, looking forward to my conversation with him again, which is coming up later this hour. And we've got music from the likes of Junior Walker and the All-Stars. We'll throw on some classic Big Mama Thornton and Womack. And yeah, oh, so much more. Here's the classic from Jackie Wilson. can get in touch on the show as well across the social networks as well. We're on Instagram, Facebook. It's simply at Ravi Sagoo. Graham, you can get involved and post your thoughts on the music, and just check out some of the pictures as well of some of the artists that we're featuring tonight, including Abraham Alexander coming up very, very shortly, alongside the Brooklyn Funk Essentials, who will be playing later in the final hour of the show. This next record was a original hit for Marvin Gaye. James Taylor covered as well, and this was definitely made for the dance floor. So if you're maybe getting your Friday night soul shuffle on, or you're getting ready to boogie, maybe tomorrow night, maybe even Sunday night. I used to love going out clubbing on a Sunday night, because the folk that were out clubbing on a Sunday night were your true hardcore people that just wanted to hit the dance floor, didn't really care if they had work on Monday morning. And I was one of those Sunday clubbers. So, but perhaps you're just boogieing away at home, or you're enjoying a glass of wine at home and just enjoying the music and just dancing within your soul. We've got it covered for you. And, this next record might help as well. This is Junior Walker and the All-Stars. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I want to stop and thank you, baby. I want to stop and thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, it seems I'd been there before. But you're bright enough for me all of my days. With a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop, thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. Oh yes, how sweet it is to be loved by you. It's just like sugar sometimes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Whoa, yeah. You were better to me than I was to myself. For me, there's you, and there ain't nobody else. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. Oh, yes, how sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. It's like jelly, baby. Oh, yeah, how sweet it is to be loved by you. Just like honey to the bee, baby. Yeah, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
We'll be heading to my interview with Abraham Alexander very, very shortly. In fact, after this next record, he's one of a new generation of soul artists coming out of Texas, real sort of mixy blues, retro soul, and well, he'll explain it all. And I've mentioned previously that he was playing in Glasgow earlier this summer at SWG3. What a gig. Really intense, just totally gets the crowd involved, and he just, has the hairs on the back of your neck really stand up. And I caught up with him after the gig about his brand new album and his UK tour. And whilst I was chatting away to him, he revealed that he was a big fan of this legendary artist, as are we on the show. This is Bill Withers and Lean On Me.
Lean on me when you're
When you need a friend. Oh, baby, now. When you need a friend. Oh, baby, now. When you need a friend. Early in the morning now.
Which is an absolute favourite with my guest tonight. Joining me, or me joining him backstage after his gig in Glasgow, is Abram Alexander. Abram, welcome to BBC Radio Scotland. Welcome to Summer Soul.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you for having me.
As you know, on the programme, it's all about, the diversity of black music, soul music from an era way back when of, the vintage right through till now. Bill Withers, a big favourite of yours from back in the day?
Absolutely. I think what he did was such a beautiful way of merging soul, folk, and blues. Like, he is a pioneer, a godfather, a patriarch in the music that I'm trying to create. And so he did it so effortlessly, and I started music a lot later in my life, and so did he. And so just the way that he went about his music, it was very authentic and very real, and there wasn't a lot of gimmick, and at the time it was very gimmicky of the flash and this, but his was the storytelling. And I think when I want people to think about my music is the stories within it, because it's the stories that actually connects us to each other.
And similar to Bill and your album and your performance tonight, Sincere Stories, which we're now going to get onto.
Yeah.
Abraham, you're currently on your headline European tour, taking in the likes of Amsterdam for the first time, Paris, and obviously Glasgow as well tonight. What was it like performing to a Scottish crowd? What was your expectations of, performing to a Scottish crowd tonight?
To be honest, I'm just glad that there were bodies in the room, and I said this tonight, that the second person that believes in the dream is more important than the dreamer themselves, because they validate that aspiration and they validate that dream. And for there to be people, I wrote songs in my bedroom and never had an idea. I had a wish, but never had idea of how far it was going to travel, and to be in a different country and bodies to fill the room and for them to listen to the music. Nothing but gratitude and gratefulness. It's beautiful how music in a spiritual sense can join us, but then to be in the physical space with each other enjoying the music is spiritual in itself.
Yeah, there was a real intensity in the crowd and just the performance tonight. Abraham, what makes your album stand out is that you're not afraid to share personal experiences of love, loss, and reconnecting with family, which is pretty rare given it's a debut album.
Yeah.
And, a lot of folk would maybe think, right, I need to be on brand, especially for the social media age. What led you to being just so reflective and open for a debut piece?
I've lived, I'm not a 19-year-old making music. I'm 32 and I've lived a long life, or what's felt like a long life, because of what has transpired within my years. I grew up in Greece to immigrant parents of Nigeria and migrated to the States. And within the States, there were so many tumultuous things that took place. And so I didn't think that I had time to really make what was popular. I wanted to write my stories down and have it be cathartic, and not letting those pains and those hurts have a hold on me. And so it was me being vulnerable in order for me to overcome those things. And I'm grateful that I did, because I feel like the music will stand the test of time.
Now, on the album, you've collaborated with soul legend Mavis Staples on the record, Deja Vu, and which is a story of injustice. Tell me more about the song and your experience of working with Mavis in the studio, an absolute legend.
Yeah, the song is about Khalif Broder, who was a 16-year-old child who was wrongfully accused of stealing a backpack and spent 3 years in the worst prison in America called Rikers Island. And when I heard that story, I saw myself in his place, because he could have been bailed out of prison if his mom had $3,000. And so to me, it hit me to the core that money could have saved him from all the pain and all the hurt that he had, and yet he was innocent while he was in prison. And so I needed to do something. And I feel like as artists, it is our job to be a soundboard of the times. And who better than Mavis to share that as well? I feel like when she's singing that, and she's singing my words, you know, like me writing that, and for me hearing her sing my lyrics, it's as if like a parent is talking to you, and there's this power, like this minister and this prophet and a mother wrapped into one. This ferociousness in her voice, it made me cry the first time that I heard it back, just because of the emotion. And she transcended that song in such a beautiful way, and I'm grateful. Like, the song in itself is such a powerful message, but then when you have someone who's walked the things that I'm talking about within the track, and not just that, but also who she is within music, to me that song it's transcending.
A powerful message, a powerful performance. This is Abraham Alexander alongside Mavis Staples, and from the album Seasons, this is Deja Vu.
You defy my memory. Ground I stand as firm as the sea. Drown as you take the key. Walking away from me. Killing a legacy. Bittersweet poetry. Deja vu. Deja vu story. Same life. Another body in glory. Deja vu story.
Tell the truth, it'll set you free. Preacher's words ring loud in me. Blind lady, hear my plea. Justice, no heresy, but you're not listening. Modern day slavery. Deja vu story. Same lie, another body in glory. Deja vu story. Deja vu story. Say lie. Another body in glory. Deja vu story. Deja vu. Deja vu story. Say lie. Another body in glory. Deja vu story. Modern day slavery. Same lie.
So that was the powerful message and voice and performance of Deja Vu with Mavis Staples and Abraham Alexander. Abraham, let's go back to perhaps a bit the old school and indeed the present. What are the musical influences that are inspiring your own sound from both past and present?
Leon Bridges, who's a dear friend of mine, is someone that is constantly inspiring me, and he's a brother to me, and someone that we live mad close together, and I wouldn't be doing music if I didn't meet Leon. He's the one that encouraged me to start doing open mics and write songs and see where they take me, and I'm extremely grateful for him. Bill Withers, we talked about him. Let's see, Hosier, someone that I really and I'm fond of. Ray Lemontang, she's an incredible artist as well. Amy Winehouse is another artist that just her sound and what she brought to music, like still to this day inspires me. Keb Mo, Gary Clark Jr.
He also features on the album,
Yes.
namely on the song Stay. So you're keeping some rather fine company on this debut album.
Man.
How did you and Gary combine your own styles and musical vision on the record?
You know, he was a fan of the song, and it's beautiful because I released that song back in 2019 and then brought it back just because of how important it was to me. And Gary said that was one of his favorite songs, you know, him and his kids would listen to. And when I heard what he did to it, it was just beautiful. And, you know, Gary can do whatever he wants to. He's this kind of guitar genius and musical genius. And for him to let the music breathe and for the guitar to be an assistance to the song and be a storytelling to the song just tells you that refrain says more about his musicality and says more about his intuition than anything else.
And tell me, what's unique about the Fort Worth music scene, you know, in, say, comparison to the likes of Nashville, Austin, you know, and other well-known music cities? What's that kind of cultivating in your own style and the vibe out there?
Yeah, you know, that's beautiful. I think in Fort Worth, there's a sense of community. And I think, not to bash Nashville. Nashville is beautiful and has this thing, but it can be very cliquish, and LA can be very cliquish. But, you know, Leon is from Fort Worth, I'm from Fort Worth, and so many beautiful artists coming out, but it's very much, we believe that the pie is big enough for everyone, and that any light shine on one person is going to reflect light on the next. And so we champion each other to really do well. And we think that because of that, you know, the documentary is going to be that much better, you know, when it gets written. So Fort Worth is a beautiful place and a beautiful city, and it allocated a way for me to express myself and to figure out who I was. And I think a lot of cities don't give people that luxury.
Abraham, we're going to play out with Tears Run Dry.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Tears Run Dry. So dear friends of mine were celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary, which is sort of unthinkable in today's age. And they asked me to write a song for them. And I just couldn't relate really until I watched this movie called A Walk to Remember. There's this scene where they're in two places at once. I won't share too much beyond that, but it just made me realize that it doesn't necessarily have to look like what we think it should look like in order for it to be right. And this is what Tears Run Dry is about.
Abraham, thank you for joining us on Summer Soul.
Ravi, it's an absolute honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Nice one, bro. Cheers.
God bless.
My mind now. You're on my mind now. I can get you off. I can get you off. Time now. Give you all my time now. 'Cause I can't get enough. I can't get enough. I know you're hurting. You're searching. You're longing for something more. Something more. Well, this is the part in the movie scene where I take your hand and say, and darling, if you let me love you, and let me hold you, you'll see those tears run dry. And darling, if you let me love you, and let me hold you, you'll see those tears run dry. 'Cause love is never gonna be easy. Because love is never gonna be easy. Darling, if you let me love you, and let me hold you, if you see those tears run dry. Oh, I wonder if you could let your walls come down. Oh, what my love could give if you would let me be around. I know you're hurting, you're searching, you're longing for something more, something more. Well, this is the part in the movie scene where I take your hand and say, and darling, if you let me love you, and let me hold you, you'll see those tears
Very lovely organ-driven soul ballad there. Tears Run Dry from Abraham Alexander. And that's from his brand new album Seasons, which released in April this year on Jewel Tone Records. And some big collaborations, like he was mentioning, on that album, including Mavis Staples and Gary Clark Jr. Massive thank you going out to Abraham Alexander. Such a gentleman. And if you ever get the opportunity to catch him during a live set, I mean, he's really, really good. You can maybe check this out on his socials as well. But he does a phenomenal cover of Wicked Games. And it's just, yeah, honestly, go onto YouTube, go onto his socials. I'm not going to say anything else. It is worth spending 3 or 4 minutes and just taking that in. But yeah, big thanks to Abraham Alexander. We're going to stick to the new generation of soul music, but this time bring it closer back home to Britain. And singer-songwriter Lily Moore, she began her sort of musical career busking on the streets of her native Brighton. And, well, she takes inspiration, which you'll hear from her voice, from the classics and the modern greats, including the likes of Etta James, a bit of Lauryn Hill, and you can definitely hear a bit of Amy Winehouse as well. She's teaming up with Irish singer-songwriter here, Maverick Sabre, and this is In Between. Great harmonies there. Lily Moore with Maverick Sabre and In Between.
One programme.
It is Get It On. I'm Brian Burnett.
Countless themes.
The folk who got better as they got older.
Like the legend of the Phoenix.
Those classics that have been forgotten about. The inspirational Moonlight and the songs that have reflected it.
Endless possibilities.
She said, what a great theme. Should get plenty of my childhood loves.
His love is unbreakable.
You've certainly been having your say on musical instruments.
You choose the music. Get It On with Brian Burnett. Monday to Thursday from 6 p.m. on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Sounds.
We are Memphis Wrestling. Join us live starting next Saturday when Memphis Wrestling and the Pontotoc Run Club tag team with the WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan to fundraise for St. Jude. The Hacksaw at 4 p.m. Reserve your seat today. Saturday, August 26th, Memphis Wrestling is coming to Gleason, Tennessee for the first ever Tinkertown Throwdown benefiting Gleason High School. Sunday, August 27th, meet the real one, formerly known as Enzo Amore. Then watch AEW All In absolutely free at Dave & Buster's. Monday, August 28th, join us at Ghost River on Bill Street for our official Raw pre-party. It's free and family-friendly. Saturday night, September 9th, Memphis Wrestling returns to the Dyer County Fair for the Bicentennial Bash. Memphis Wrestling is free with paid fair admission. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com.
And taking us up to the midnight hour.
Everybody's having a good time, and you know what's going through my mind. Do you mind if I get comfortable and kick on these shoes? While I'm sipping on this cold beer, I'm gonna roll me up some of that fire sweet. Gonna be messing around with no cocaine. Man, they say that stuff will drive you insane, and I ain't lying. Tonight I'm gonna smoke as I please. Said I'm gonna sip off this cold beer and smoke off this fire sweet. Oh yeah, fire sweet, fire sweet. All I'm gonna do is smoke that fire sweet all night long. I'm gonna roll me up a blunt or two. I'm gonna sip off this cold beer and smoke on this fire sweet. Well, do you mind if I have some of this here? You know my old lady gon' wanna smoke. If you didn't put nothing on this bag, hell no, you can't have a drag. I done paid too much for this bag. I'm gonna get my head back appetite. Eat up life off my blood. All I wanna do is smoke all night long.
Summer Soul with Ravi Sagoo on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Talk about a funk and groove to kick off the final hour of Summer Soul here on BBC Radio Scotland with myself, Ravi Sagoo. That was Baby Charles, fronted by vocalist Down Charles, with their reworking, or fabulous reworking, may I add, of the Arctic Monkeys with I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. Another band based out of Brighton. Brighton seems to be happening at this point for music. Coming up this summer, my interview with Latte Kronlund. He talks about growing up in Sweden, listening to soul music and setting up the Brooklyn Funk Essentials. And we'll be speaking to him a wee bit later this hour. Plus, I'll be dropping music from the likes of The Drifters, Millie Jackson, some classic hip-hop from Bone Thugs and Harmony, who've sampled some Marvin Gaye, and another archive session track from the fantastic Ray Harris and the Fusion Experience. Quick wee reminder as well, if you want to get in touch, in fact, your thoughts on the music, always welcomed on the show. 80295 is the usual Radio Scotland text number. Any emails throughout, in fact, the week, and not only tonight, it's Ravi, simply RAVI, at bbc.co.uk, and you can find us on the socials as well. It's simply at Ravi Sagoo Graham. Now, soul and funk in many classic film scores and TV shows over the years, particularly cop dramas of the 1970s, who had some of the funkiest theme music ever. You're listening to BBC Radio Scotland. It's Summer Soul with myself, Ravi Sagoo, with you right through until 1 a.m. And time now for our second and final archive session track from the fantastic Ray Harris and the Fusion Experience. This time they're covering Booker T, Green Onions.
The girl has got the touch. What you got is an instant. That kind of girl. Max Priestess make them know.
She's the kind of woman that lets you know when she knows what you want, she won't let go. Takes you to a place of your fantasy, walks you to the door, but she holds a key. That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
Youngster kind of lover.
That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
Smooth type of girl.
No matter who you are or what you do, she knows how to click in everything you do. She can make you hot when it's cold outside, take you on a high, even make you fly. That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
Youngster kind of lover.
That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
She's outspoken, I'm heartbroken. Just the kind of girl to keep my love life rolling. She's outspoken, I'm heartbroken. Just the kind of girl to keep my that girl to make you break your silence and speak. Just a glimpse upon the silhouette, my knees get weak. Baby, baby, unique. A reggae-matic lover, lover, make her life complete.
That girl, that kind of girl.
That kind of lover.
Girl, ooh, that kind of girl. She's the kind of woman who knows the street. And even under pressure, she's smooth and sweet. No complications, just attitude. Believe in what she got since you won't get used. That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
That's the kind of lover.
That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
Well, I'm weak to her touch, so vulnerable to her blush, love struck. That girl, I got an instant crush. You can call me a lush, infatuation or just lust. The girl possesses the stuff to make the man them.
Holy Moses, Lord, it could have been me. Caught up in this trap and didn't wanna be.
I know.
But I ain't a fool, I was one step ahead. I had to let go, cause I was over my head. That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
That's the kind of lover.
That girl, ooh, that kind of girl.
Cause she's a shaggy kind of girl.
Girl, ooh,
I gotta let her know.
that kind of girl.
Sexy kind of lover.
Girl, ooh,
Let her know.
that kind of girl.
That's the kind of girl. So she's outspoken, I'm not broken. Just the kind of girl to keep my love life flowing. She's outspoken, I'm not broken. She's the kind of girl to keep my that girl.
Ooh,
I gotta let him know.
that kind of girl.
She's the kind of girl that cultivates her soul.
Oh, that kind
A real
of
girl
girl.
type of lover. Sure.
That girl. Ooh, that
Shut your mouth, so it's different from girls than cakes.
I'm about to play you the sample, the legendary Isley Brothers, Make Me Say It Again, Girl. And yeah, if you've never heard of Bone Thugs and Harmony, this will certainly, it'll mesmerise you. Such talent. This is The Crossroads.
Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you. Looking at for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of rolling clothes like I ain't looked at a while. And play for dust, and they play too deep for B-side. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature the seats for them, please. Marry me by my grand, when you can go.
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven. Follow the Lord all 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keeping me safe and in my place. To the gates we race, without a chance to face the judge, and against my soul with buzz. Grudge because there's no mercy for thugs. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about the family and how we grow. Can I get a witness? Let it unfold. We living our lives, so we turn our soul. Hey, oh, hey.
And we're praying, we're praying, we're praying, we're praying. Every day, every day, every day, every day. And we're praying, we're praying, we're praying, we're praying. Still with lace. Now follow me, Rostro. Whether it's tell or it's seven. Come, let's go take a visit to the people that's long gone there. While he's there, terrible. Instead of keeping up with their family. Exactly how many days we got lasting? While you laughing, we're passing the way. We gon' raise our toes, 'cause I know I'ma meet you up at the crossroad. Y'all know if I ever got love with them both thugs, baby. Long gone, really wish you could come home. But when it's time to die, gotta go bye-bye. All the little thug could do was cry, cry. Why they kill my dog? Yeah, man, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. And he shouldn't be gone in front of his home. When they did, the boo was wrong. Who's so wrong? Gotta hold on, gotta stay strong. When it comes, better believe on. Gotta show that you can lean on, lean on. And we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray. Every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray. Every day. See you at the crossroads. 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 And I'm gonna miss everybody. And I'm gonna miss every life. nigga cause I was home. Somebody really, everybody wanna touch the stove. In this sleaze, it's sort of easy to fall. You know I've been sitting there cause they intended on that they didn't win any. Wanna come again and again. Now tell me what you gonna do. Can somebody, anybody tell me why? Hey, can somebody, anybody tell me why? We die, I don't wanna die. So wrong. See you at the crossroads, so you won't be lonely. 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 See you at the crossroads, so you won't be lonely. So you won't be lonely. At the crossroads, so you won't be lonely.
Definite pioneers of their era, Bone Thugs in harmony with The Crossroads. We'll be speaking to band leader of the Brooklyn Funk Essentials, Lattie Cronland, very, very shortly. They've got a brand new album out, and well, this is the title track, Intuition.
We can see, call it intuition. Call it intuition, yeah.
The title track from the brand new album from Brooklyn Funk Essentials, Intuition, with Alison Limerick and Desmond Foster on vocals. And the Brooklyn Funk Essentials have been making people dance and smile for well over 2 decades now with their mix of soul, jazz, funk, hip-hop, with a real multi-talented and cultural ensemble. And I'm really delighted to say that musical director and band leader Lati Cronlund joins me on Summer Soul here on BBC Radio Scotland. Lati, a very warm welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm so pleased to be here.
It's lovely to have you. You're joining us from Sweden today.
It is.
Yeah.
I am.
Now, your music, it's not just funk. It's a mix of, lots of different styles, influence from many different cultures, which really keeps up with the groove. How does the music and songwriting dynamic process work for such a big ensemble? Because there's quite a lot of yous.
Yes, there is. It's changed a lot during the course of the band's existence. But for this album that we just released, we really didn't have any kind of preconceptions or ideas or concepts or whatnot. We just really went in and started jamming. So hence, that's sort of where the title is coming from. We all just did it off the top of our heads, not trying to do any specific record, just whatever came out, It wasn't like, yeah, let's make a disco record, let's make an Afro beat. It was like, no. Just let's go in, start from scratch, see what happens.
I love that organic approach. I'm going to come on to the new album shortly, but over the years you've had a few lineup changes. How has the introduction of these new members changed the sound over the years?
I think we've actually gone backwards. I think we're sounding, in our sound, we're more traditional today than we were when we started, which has to do with the fact that we started during the hip-hop 90s, so there were drum machines, there were, samples, and there were DJs scratching, and there was all that sort of 90s stuff. What we are doing now is we just play instruments. We don't use any loops or any computer really based at all. It's just like we play live, we write songs, and it also live. We never use tracks live. Everything we do is what we do at that specific moment in time.
Live is real. Live is, what music should be, but then...
That's where it's at.
Now, we've already deciphered your accent as well. You're from Sweden. Who were the big soul and funk influences for you?
My growing up is complicated because I lived in California as a kid, and that's where I first got in touch with funk and soul. I'd be watching the Jackson cartoon. I'd be listening to radio when my uncle drove... I was staying with my uncle. When he drove me around in the car, anytime we hit on a black music station, I was like, whoa, what is this? I just felt an affiliation to that right from before I even knew that it was what it was, So then when I started to listen to music myself, I was looking for that. And I started to buy 7-inch singles because that's where I could find that kind of stuff. Then I moved to London in the early 80s, which is how I discovered house music, really, going to clubs in London and stuff. And obviously hip-hop. And I wrote the song for Alison Limerick, which was a big hit. And then Arthur Baker asked me to come to New York, and that's when we started BFE.
How did you come to work with Alison, and what was it about her vocal style that you thought, right, I need to start producing records here?
I discovered Alison. I went to a fashion show at the ICA in London, where they had, instead of having traditional models, they had dancers and singers and creative people. So she was sitting on a swing singing God Bless the Child, wearing a fantastic frock. I just went up to her and said, listen, I really like your voice. I'm a songwriter. Can we do some demos? And she was like, yeah, sure. So that's how we met. We did a lot of stuff that didn't come to anything. And then we actually lost touch. And then when I wrote Where Love Lives, I was like, who's going to... Because at that time, I was actually working with Claudia Fontaine from Soul to Soul. But she wasn't the right voice for that song. So I was like, who do I know that can sing? Alison, yes. So I called her up again, and she was like, yeah, I got some free space. So, and, the rest is history.
As they say. And Brooklyn Funk Essentials, how did you go about setting the trip up?
I started doing that with Arthur Baker. He asked me to come to New York to work with him in the studio on various stuff. At the time, we were actually working on an Al Green album. And then one day, the drummer didn't show up for a session. So I was like, okay, well, shall we call it a day? And, and no. I got some old tapes here with like some cool samples. We should put this on, get it in the sampler, and we'll do like an us three kind of sample, jazzy hip hop record. It's like, all right. So we started that. I'd met some musicians and rappers and poets in clubs in New York that I used to go out every night. It developed. Suddenly we had a whole album, and we approached Dorado Records in the UK, and they signed it. So and then we started to play gigs in New York, and we were playing pretty much every week in some little club somewhere in New York. And then Arthur didn't stay in the band because he's like, no, I'm not a musician. I'm a music producer. So it became my baby.
And Lati, you dropped your 7th album earlier in the summer in May, Intuition. And for those who haven't had a chance to spin it fully yet, tell me about the beats, the arrangement styles. What can they expect to hear across this record?
First of all, it's all very live and organic. If anything, like I wanted to make a record that was based on the kind of music that I loved from the 70s and 80s. We all just got together, put our instruments in a ring in the studio, and we just played. And as a matter of fact, everything that is on the record is how we played it that first time. We didn't do overdub. Well, we did the vocal afterwards because we hadn't written the lyrics yet. But Alison was kind of in there singing nonsense lyrics, and then after that it developed. But I mean, people have said that there's obvious influences from like Ohio Players and Sly and the Family Stone, the kind of obvious 70s stuff. But also, like, there's a good deal of Afrobeat fella references. Well, not deliberately again, but it's just, you just feel it in there. It's coming from the kind of music that we all listen to. And obviously all kinds of jazzy stuff and hip-hoppy stuff and soul and house. It's all just in there. So for somebody who is into that kind of music, I think they can really find something that they like on this album.
It works for me. It's a gorgeous mix. And Lati, how have you kept up with the live scene and new audiences across, not only in New York where, you guys set up, but across Europe and the rest of the territories across the world?
Basically, we go, whenever we get invited to play somewhere, we go. So, I mean, that's why we, like in the late 90s, we went to Istanbul and recorded our second album there with a bunch of Turkish folk musicians. There were 23 of us in the studio at the same time, and they didn't speak any English whatsoever. But we made that record, and it's funny because making a record in Turkey made people from Brazil call us and say, "Can you come to Brazil?" Because they'd heard what we'd done in Turkey. You wouldn't have thought that that there would be a connection there, and it's not like we're trying to merge things. We're just trying to make music that means something to us and to the people who make it. So so far it's worked really well. We get invited to play all kinds of strange places. Last gig we did was in Batumi, Georgia.
Nice.
Where we had never, some of the people in the band, where's that? It's like, they didn't even know where we were going, but that was wonderful.
What was the crowd like?
Massive. I think we had like 4,000 people. They were dancing from June 1 all the way through the end.
So it doesn't matter where the Georgia is, funk and soul's always going to go down in a place called Georgia. Think about it, Lati, a brand new single rolling and a new video to go with it. Tell me, what's next for Brooklyn Funk Essentials?
Actually, our next gig is in London. We're playing the Forge on October 20th. And after that, we go to France. Then we're going to go back into the studio to work on some of the other songs that we didn't have a chance to finish and getting ready for more gigs in the upcoming year. So it never ends.
Lati, love your energy, love your funk. Keep on going. We're going to play it with your brand new single. This is Rolling. Thank you for joining us on Summer Soul here on BBC Radio Scotland. Nice one, bruv.
Thank you. Nice one.
Love will be here.
Well, it did, yes it did, for all of us inside our mind. For all that time, in the end, in the end, in the end, love will pave the way. Let music roll through you, down to your feet. Let rhythm move you out into the street. Out in the sun and down onto the beat. Dancing in the park, grooving in the heat. Like a Saturday afternoon. Love will be here, love will be here. Let it roll on. Any Saturday afternoon. Love will be here, love will be here. Let it roll on through. Rolling, keep on. We're rolling, rolling through. Rolling, love will be here, love will be here. In that moment when we all stand at the door, through the door to the heart, where love had gone. With every beat, I feel it still in the head, in the air, in the groove. Every beat is true, and it keeps rolling on. Don't have to think at all. Just let that feeling inside begin. Out in the sun and down onto the beach, we're dancing in the park, moving in the heat. We're dipping down, down to the ground, spinning round and round and round. We're dipping down, down to the sound. We don't care how low we go. Like a Saturday afternoon. Love will be here, love will be here. Saturday afternoon. Love will be here, love will be here. Rolling, we're rolling, rolling. Love will be here, love will be here. Rolling, we're rolling, rolling. Love will be here, love will be
The brand new single from Brooklyn Funk Essentials, Rollin', and massive thank you going out to Lattie Cronland, the band leader from the Brooklyn Funk Essentials, for joining us on Summer Soul. Great album, great vibe, great funk. Loving it, loving it, loving it. We're almost coming towards the end of the programme, but not quite. We'll still throw in a few more records before we head home this morning. I was going to say tonight, but yeah, this morning at 1 a.m. You are indeed listening to Summer Soul with myself, Ravi Sagoo, right here on BBC Radio Scotland. And I'm going to play you this next artist, perhaps one of my most favourite artists of the current era at the minute. He's a bit of an all-rounder. He's a actor, he's a singer, and he dropped his latest album earlier this year. I think it was February, and the album's called The Rebirth of Marvin. And as you can tell by the title, It lends itself back to the Marvin Gaye era, and October London is an absolute talent. I'm sure you will agree. I'm just going to play the record. It's phenomenal. Back to your place.
Oh, baby. I've been looking at you all night. The day becomes the night. Said I've been patient and I've been kind. Oh, but my body is running out of time. You said your clock on your walls is ticking, so let me give you what you've been missing. So she said, so she said, take me, oh, take me back, oh, baby, take me back to your place, ooh, your place of residence. Oh, I've been waiting, baby, waiting for a long time. Waiting on you for your heart to be mine. Oh, before someone else comes to mind. But when you told me that I was the one, girl, oh, baby, I took every hour and minute, babe, just to make sure. So she said, take me, oh, take me back, oh, baby, take me back to your place, your place of residence. So she said, take me, oh, take me back, oh, baby, take me back to your place.
He sits in either era of the golden era or the current era, October London, with Back to Your Life. Or Back to Your Place, perhaps even. Here's a classic from Millie Jackson, Something About You.
Stay I don't wanna see you without. I'm gonna try to give you everything you want. When you want it, how you want it, and every time you just think you want it. Oh, there's something about you. Oh, baby, there's something about your love. Something about your loving. I say there's something about your loving. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, baby. Come on and lay your fine self down here by my side. I'm gonna make sweet love to you, baby, until you say you're satisfied. Just as long as I know I got you, I don't need nobody else. If the Lord made anything better than you, he must have kept it to himself. 'Cause there's something about you. Don't know what it is, but it's something about you, babe. Oh, there's something about you. Sweet thing, there's just something about you, babe. Something about you, baby. Is it your smooth conversation? Is it your sweet, sweet, sweet body? Must I do an investigation? Oh, there's something about you, baby. Ow, there's something about you, just something about you, there's something about you, there's something about you, there's something about you, loving baby. Wow. Somebody tell me what it is now.
Still sounding so fresh after all these years. Millie Jackson with Something About You. We're almost at the very tail end of tonight's show, and well, what better way to go out with one from Brother Ray, an absolute classic. It's almost time to hit the road, Jack.
She used to be everything to me when she was my girl. When she was my girl, I held her near, told her how much I cared when she was my girl. When she was my girl, when she was my girl, there was laughter and loving in my world every day. When she was my girl, oh what joy she would bring. Now I've lost everything. She's gone, 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 gone. I spend the night dreaming how she used to be My girl, she's so foxy, can't you see? And this girl belongs to me. She's my girl. When we walk down the street, I would tell everyone to meet.
Ray Charles. We, of course, will be back same time next week, Friday night, Summer Soul, BBC Radio Scotland, with myself, Ravi Sagoo, from 10 o'clock. But that's almost us from BBC Radio Scotland today. It's now time to join our colleagues over on 5 Live